Welcome to the latest episode of the Forecast in 5. I'm your host, Seth Katz. Joining us today is Jonathan Wilson. Jonathan is the CEO and Chief Value Creator for Dubb Value Creation, a boutique investment bank and management consulting firm in West Hollywood, California, that has been changing the way middle market businesses navigate mergers and acquisitions. Jonathan's background originated with almost 20 years focused on partnering with division level and corporate level executives within Fortune 500 companies through his former employers, Accenture, Bank of America, Deloitte Consulting, and Grant Thornton. In addition to leading his company, Jonathan volunteers as a board member for the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, former chair and current member of the Social Justice Advisory Board for the City of West Hollywood, and President Emeritus for the UCLA Black Alumni Association. Jonathan also has an MBA in General Management and International Strategy from the UCLA Anderson School of Management. Welcome, Jonathan. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Seth. I appreciate this.
Of course. Well, let's get started with some questions. Dubb Value prides itself on the future of mergers and acquisitions. Can you share a bit more about what makes Dubb Value special when it comes to helping middle market companies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said it partly in the introduction. We are an investment bank as well as a management consulting firm. And the reason why that's important is that we bring out all the key methodologies and practices that a management consulting firm will do during the M&A sell side and buy side activities. What that means in general is that we will work with you on communication plans, we'll work with you on the change of control bonuses. We'll do all the things that start from the phase that you want to really sell your company all the way through to separation. Or from a buy side perspective, we'll work with you on the M&A strategy and then work with you even on integration as well. So our goal is really to be there for our clients the entire way and not pawn you off to have so that you have to have several different advisors.
Very helpful. Why is it important for a company to consider working with an advisor like Dubb Value if they're considering an M&A merge transaction?
That is so important. So many times people think, oh, I can do this on my own, or maybe I'll just hire a lawyer. I think the piece that's really important is that we understand the game. We've been doing this for many, many years. And so what people don't realize is that the negotiation is not just in the very beginning when you talk about what the price is. At some point, you're negotiating that the entire way, right? And not until have you signed the full separation agreement or purchase agreement have you actually finished your negotiation process.
Got it. You spent time with a number of well-respected companies during the course of your career, and along the way, you've built many relationships. Can you touch on the significance of relationships and why in your industry they're so vital to maintain?
Yeah, that's so important. What people don't realize is that while you may have connected with somebody and you may or may not think you'll ever work with them again, you have no idea the power of the network. When you actually meet somebody else, let's say 20 years from now, and you have, so and such relationship from 20 years ago, you've actually had some credibility and you built credibility with somebody new just by having that connection. And also those introductions, I think, also go a long way too, where you may not know someone that you need to be meeting, right? But someone else, may run across you and say, "Oh, I understand that you do M&A. I have a buddy who is looking to sell their company. Can you maybe give them a few pointers or get on a call with them and understand and help them understand what the process is like?" So that happens actually quite a bit. You want to be forefront, right? You want to make sure you're maintaining good relationships, that you're actually keeping in touch with people. And even if you haven't talked to someone in a long time, sometimes it's important to just drop them a note saying, "Hey, thinking of you."
Well said. Since we have many Anderson students watching who want to start their own advisory firm as you have, are there any helpful pointers that you could share to assist those aspiring leaders gain an edge?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Make sure you're active listening. If you understand active listening, you can do a great job in really helping your clients because a lot of times it's not about what they say to you, it's about what they're not saying to you. So you have to really be listening to and asking follow-up questions. Make sure that you have a methodology or a process that's tried and true. Again, it doesn't mean that that has to be the exact process that you do every time because sometimes you have to go with the flow a little bit. But you do have to make sure that you have something in mind that's an end-to-end process that will work and that has been tried and true for your clients. What they want to do is they want to know what they can expect, and they want to make sure they're not going to be stressed out while working with you. So those are the two things you have to make sure you're managing. And you also need to make sure you're actually demonstrating that you can actually get the job done, right?
Excellent points, Jonathan. Since decisions that are data driven are essential in your profession and something that Dubb Value focuses heavily on, as advancements in technology, from AI to automation, will change the way all of us do business, how do you see all of this innovation impacting the future of M&A?
That's so funny. Quite frankly, actually, I've hired someone who is a financial engineer from UCLA Anderson to be, just to be ahead of the game. What I'm noticing is that there's quite a few websites that are popping up that are trying to manage the transaction end to end. What people don't realize, though, or what, a lot of times the processes don't realize is that it's a human interaction. M&A is not so much just about financials, and it's not just about taking a look at what the books are like. It's really understanding, okay, what is making the owner tick, right? He wants to make sure his legacy lives on or her legacy lives on. They also want to make sure that their people are going to be taken care of. Those are things that require reassurance, and those are things that you have to make sure that you're really accounting for through the transaction. There's always going to be some need for the people side of things, and you have to demonstrate that you are that individual. So, yes, use technology to accelerate the way that you execute. At the same time, make sure you're adding in a little time and capability for the human element. So, yes, we've hired a financial engineer to make sure that we're able to do things faster and in a more efficient manner. At the same time, though, we're making sure that we're sticking to our end-to-end processes and we're taking into account all the little things that come up along the way of an M&A transaction.
Excellent points. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks so much for taking out the time to be with us, Jonathan.
Oh, I greatly appreciate you and you, Silly Anderson. I appreciate it quite a bit.
And thanks to all our viewers for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of the Forecast in 5.
Thanks.